Hello, ladies and gentlemen. We are back with another video on Mad About Sports. As you all know, the Border-Gavaskar series is ongoing. So we are here to talk about the second test match between India and Australia, which just got over. As you all know, it was Australia who won the toss in Delhi, and they decided to bat first on that wicket. And Australia posted 263, which looked like a very good total on day one. Australia on the second test came with a different approach. They came with a lot more intent. They wanted to attack and take the attack onto the Indian spinners, and they were partially successful, you can say so. Usman Khawaja actually led their attack by scoring a brilliant 80 on day one. Alongside that, a very good defensive masterclass by Peter Handscomb as well, who was not out at the end of first innings. And after that first innings from Australia, India were put under tremendous pressure. India lost 7 wickets for 139. There was a brief period where Virat Kohli and Jadeja tried to build a partnership, but Nathan Lyon once again was all over India. Nathan Lyon went on to pick up 100 wickets against Indian team. That was a phenomenal feat as well. Now, talking about that, Virat Kohli, one could say, was slightly unlucky. That dismissal, where you can say it's highly debatable and controversial. It's not the first time it has happened with Virat Kohli. As you all know, it happened in the Test series against New Zealand. It also happened in IPL, where Virat Kohli's bat and pad was extremely close. On one angle, you feel like it hit the bat first and went out the pad. So Virat Kohli was undone by that. After that, after India looked like in serious trouble after losing 7 wickets for 139. From there on, it was a masterclass put on by Akshar Patel and Ravichandran Ashwin. As you all know, even the last test match you saw, it was the 8th wicket partnership which really helped India to get out of trouble. And even here as well, it was the 8th wicket partnership. Beautiful innings by Akshar Patel and also by Ravichandran Ashwin. You can see Akshar Patel scored brilliant 74 of 115 balls, and Ravichandran Ashwin on the other end scored 37 valuable runs. Akshar Patel also went on to become the leading run scorer of the series on by their innings as well. Akshar Patel couldn't create a lot of impact with the ball throughout the series, but as you all know, with the bat, he's been exceptional. The way he has played spin, but the way he has countered spin, rather, his defensive technique was outstanding. The way in which he was getting behind the line of the ball, making sure that no inside edge gets beaten. So that is a remarkable improvement from Akshar Patel over the last 2 years as well. His batting has come of age, and that's given India a lot of confidence as well. Now, that also means Australia will have to ball their heart out. Even if they pick up 7 wickets, they cannot be satisfied because Akshar Patel is there. You have Ravichandran Ashwin and you have Ravindra Jadeja. These three all-rounders have been the backbone for Team India in this series, and they've been the backbone for Team India if you look in the home season throughout. Since 2016, you can say so. Teams have found it very difficult to come to India and defeat India, primarily because even they're able to pick up top order, there are all-round efforts by Ravindra Jadeja, Ravichandran Ashwin, time and time again, where they bail India out of tough circumstances. And after that first innings from India, India did give away 1-run lead to Australia. And once again, it looked like Australia had complete control of the game because, any sort of lead on the Delhi pitch where wickets were tumbling left, right, and center was a good one. And Australia got off to a flyer at the end of day two, where they played attacking cricket. They sent Travis Head opening. As you all know, there was a concussion substitute made as well during the course of this test match, where David Warner got hit on the head on the day one by some explosive bowling by Mohammad Siraj, and he was tested for concussion. So he was replaced by Matthew Renshaw, which meant David Warner couldn't open in the second innings, and Matthew Renshaw was a batter who came in place of David Warner through the course of the test match. But they sent Travis Head to opening. Travis Head took them off to a flyer. Though Khawaja fell early, Australia were 62 at the end of day two, having 63-run lead and 9 wickets in hand. Of course, there were a lot of skepticism around Indian fans and also in Indian dressing room at the end of day two, primarily because any lead in excess of 150 would mean Australia are on the driver's seat, because chasing any total in India and on wearing pitches where there's invariable bounce and in which Firozshah Kotla has certainly won was going to be definitely difficult. And that's where Australia were in a commanding position to put India completely off the match. But then, come the day three morning, it was once again the pair of Ashwin and Jadeja in operation. Ashwin came with his first ball in the morning, dismissed Travis Head, and from there on it was a collapse of 49 runs. Australia lost 9 wickets. As you heard it right, They lost 9 wickets to 49 runs. They fell like house of cards, you can say. It was all on to Manas Labuschagne to also say that Manas Labuschagne as well fell to Ravindra Jadeja. Ravindra Jadeja led the Indian bowling attack by picking up 7 wickets. And that is where, once again, Ravindra Jadeja is the X factor difference between the two sides. Now, if you look at Ravindra Jadeja over the last 4 years, he's come off as an all-rounder. He makes a difference. Now, if you talk about team balance, or when you talk about some of the greatest test all-rounders in the modern day game, of course, some of the players who comes into our mind is we'll talk about Ben Stokes, we'll talk about Shakib Al Hasan, but then how big an impact has Ravindra Jadeja created? Ravindra Jadeja since 2017 is averaging 46.11 with the bat. And as a bowler, his bowling average is 24.67. Now that batting average is better than Usman Khwaja, Travis Head, and David Warner. And that bowling average is better than Australians bowling trio of Mitchell Starc, Nathan Lyon, and also Josh Hazelwood. So that is where Jadeja is a massive difference between the two sides. Even today, it looked like when Australia were in complete control, it was Ashwin who gave that breakthrough by picking up Travis Head, but then Ravindra Jadeja's efforts, or Ravindra's ability to run through sides on wickets which aid spin is the difference once again. And then Australia only managed to score 113, and they set a target of 114 for Team India. That is where India were in complete control of the game by chasing it down with 6 wickets in hand. Of course, Cheteshwar Pujara hit that winning runs after he was dismissed for a not in the first innings. He got that opportunity to finish off the game. He scored a valuable knock as well, but you have to say Rohit Sharma gave India that start once again by scoring brilliant 30 of 20 all balls. He sacrificed his wicket, you can say, for Cheteshwar Pujara in his 100th test. And but still, there are some questions for India, of course, as we keep talking about one man. Is KL Rahul once again? Is he going to retain his spot in the team? He's had 2 consecutive failures, 3 failures in the test series overall. Is it time to look beyond KL Rahul and give to Shubman Gill? Now, the next test match will only start from March 1st in Indore. As you know, the venue was shifted in the last moment because Dharamshala was not fit to host a test match in Indore. Ravichandran Ashwin has a bowling average of 12.67. Crazy average, isn't it? But we're talking about Indore. Indore is a fine batting surface as well. One of the smallest grounds in India where runs will come at premium, you can see. So now this is going to be very interesting if India would want to go in with someone like a Shubman Gill, because Shubman Gill is a explosive batter up top. He can score a lot of runs against spin as well. So India will be extremely tempted to go in with Shubman Gill, just considering the form, and maybe release KL Rahul from the squad and make him go to Irani Trophy. Just to add to that, Saurashtra also had gone on to win the Ranji Trophy, so which means there'll be rest of India versus Saurashtra game where KL Rahul can possibly go and get some domestic game experience before maybe considering him for the WTC final. Now, what does that win mean for India now? India are now virtually into the WTC final. They've already have 1 feet set there. Now, if India goes on to draw the series from here on, Sri Lanka will have to defeat New Zealand by a margin of 2-0. It's going to be a Herculean task for Sri Lankan team, but anything is possible in cricket. But if India go on to win one more match, then it's sealed. India will be getting that ticket to WTC final. And for Australia, there'll also be slight bit of worries. If India go on to defeat Australia by a margin of 4-0 and Sri Lanka defeat New Zealand 2-0, it's going to be India-Sri Lanka WTC final there. So that's going to be an interesting set of things as well. It'll all depend on how it unfolds over the next few weeks. But for Australia, there are a lot of thinking as to how they're going to bat out. Today morning, Australia came with a predetermined notion of just sweeping the spinners on a surface like Delhi, which was keeping extremely low, and it showed no respite and it showed no effect for them where they fell off. Now, for Australia, they might have to rethink their game plan, come up with better idea to counter spin, and maybe hope a player like Cam Green is fit for that 3rd test match, because Cam Green aids balance for the Australian squad. And similarly, Australia will also hope Mitchell Starc and Josh Hazelwood are good to go. Australia will definitely like to go in with one of them and replace one of the spinners. So that's one way Australia can maybe counter India. Hope for one good burst from Mitchell Starc in one of these 2 test matches, or one good burst from Josh Hazelwood in one of these 2 test matches, and hope India collapses. Because at this point, India looks to be in great shape. They look to be the team who are dominant, and with one more test match, that will help them to qualify in the WTC final, and that will also help them to be world number one if they go on to defeat Australia by a margin of 3-0, 3-1 as well. Now that will mean India will be number one in all three formats of the game. That's a remarkable feat as well, isn't it? That's about it from us. We've been able to cover almost everything regarding this test match. I'll say join us for more of these updates. We'll come up with preview of the third test match very soon as well. And also we'll be bringing you some exciting videos over the next few days. If you did like this video, do share and also subscribe to our channel, and also keep sharing it with all your family and friends so we can keep bringing you all of these contents in the coming days. Have a good time, all of you. Take care.